Hey guys, today we have the WR2 from Wolfman. This is the 85 gap, I believe. Fairly, somewhat mild. It's not super mild. Um, I might even consider it kind of middle of the road because you definitely get some blade feel, but it's not aggressive. So I think it's a nice balance between comfort and a nice close shave, a good efficient cutter. We're going to use this again. I've used this I think 3 times now. I've really enjoyed the experience trying out a brush that I've never tried before and one that has so much history in the shaving community, Simpson. This is the Duke 3. It says the Duke back here and the 3 right here, and it is Best Badger. And the Best Badger from this knot is on the scrubby side. And I think if you put it with a creamier lather, it might be more comfortable for you, as well as give it a good soak beforehand, like maybe 20 minutes or a little bit longer. And that's what I've done today. And so we'll get that back in the water just so that in a second I can pull it out and drip it dry, so that I can do my usual routine. The blade for today is the Voshkod. I've run through a lot of my favorite razor blades in this razor, and a lot of them have been successful. What has been the Wilkinson sword has been one that hasn't been a good match, from the one from India, and it's a good budget blade for me. And a lot of my razors, just not this one, but the rest of them have been pretty good, with the Gillette Platinum being great, and just a terrific match for this razor. So let's just see how the Voshkod is going to be. I think this is going to be the 6th use of it, something like that. And today's soap is Admiral, a relatively new soap from Declaration Grooming. Chatillon Luxe did the fragrance for it, and I think it's just terrific. Based on the scent, it was a blind buy for me. I didn't wait for a sampler or anything like that, because a lot of these things are limited time runs, And one cool thing, the maker, Scott of Declaration, has told a few people to bloom Icarus soap, and so I finally remembered to do that. And so I've had a little bit of water on this. Now, normally with softer soaps, with non-hard soaps, let's say that, you don't want to bloom them because it wastes product, and you end up, sometimes it can even change the composition of the soap, and I've seen that happen in a couple of mine. So I only bloom or soak hard soaps like Mitchell's Wool Fat, Fine Accoutrements, Prix de Provence, these triple milled kind of soaps. All right, let's take this Voshkod out. Some people are big Voshkod fans, and it's kind of a hit or miss blade for me. Sometimes it does well. I don't remember which price point it is. This one I did mark with an X. It looks like maybe I'll use it as a marathon blade, but it's not in marathon status so far. The opposite side of the blade looks like this. And we'll go ahead and put that in the Wolfman. Nope, I thought I grabbed the blade, but it's so thin that I didn't actually. These 4 posts serve to hold the blade in exact alignment. See, I put the base plate on crooked, so I had to fix it there. And so no checking of the blade is necessary with this model. All right, get my you almost never see me in a long sleeve shirt, but lately our weather here has turned nice and cold, and so we have had the windows down and just enjoying the weather all night. And so I'm actually kind of got a little bit of a chill because we had them open all night, and it got pretty chilly. So hopefully the noon sun after a while will warm us up a little bit. But so today's shave might be on the cold side. So let's start mixing up the soap. I did pour the bloom water into my lather bowl so we can make good use of that. Now I'm going to shake most of the water out of my brush. And then let's go at it. 20 seconds was the last time that I used this soap. Let's try 15 this time. 10 rolled around right there on the counter, so we'll go to 25. And some people online, some very respected shavers, have said that the difference between bloomed and unbloomed Icarus is vast and so enjoyable. So let's see if I get the same experience. So here's what the brush looks like, bloomed for loaded for 15 seconds. I'm gonna rinse off the threads here of the soap container. Like I said, usually with non-hard soaps, you don't want to bloom them. But if the manufacturer tells you, then that might be something to listen to. So I've already got some, looks like maybe 2 teaspoons in here, maybe 3, from the bloomed soap container. So we'll see if I need to add any water to the lather at all. So the Icarus seems like a soap base that Declaration came out with that didn't really last all that long. I think maybe it had a strong scent on the soap base, and so then with whatever scents you put with it, maybe sometimes it kind of interfered a little bit. Don't know if that's the case, but that's kind of the feeling I'm getting. He's come out with a new milk steak formula, new milk steak base, and people are raving about it. And some people are just saying it's just the best thing they've ever used. And this is usually not from people who make that kind of claim, so it's definitely worth trying. Dark Fall was one of my favorite scents from Declaration Grooming, and so I went ahead and ordered that in the new milk steak this past weekend or the weekend before that, because I just love that scent. I've actually got it in the Bison formula, and then I also have it in Icarus, so it'll be fun to compare. So this is a scrubby brush, not uncomfortable, but if I were using a razor and blade that treated my skin a little on the rough side, maybe aggressive, and maybe I was using it to test, or I was using it because I just wanted to get a crazy close shave, and it was kind of being rough on my skin, I might not want this brush in action on that shave. I could see how maybe it would give me a little brush burn. Well, as usual, the scent on this soap is terrific. You could look at my notes in the thing to where I talk about the scent last time I used it, you know, what it's supposed to have in it, all that kind of stuff. Smoke a little bit, I smell that. A little bit of some florals. I think he included some kind of plant life that was on the Missouri River, where the Admiral was the name of an Art Deco themed riverboat back in Missouri, in that area. And I went to do a little bit of research about this boat, you know, because I got this soap. I thought it'd be neat to see the boat that it's named after and all that stuff. And I was surprised because it looked like kind of a modern cruise ship, because it was Art Deco style back then. So it wasn't the typical Mark Twain type, you know, riverboat. All right. Now this base is one that kind of stays low. Low structure is what we sometimes call it, almost gluey. And I'm not gonna add any more water. I think this is plenty. It looks pretty good. And this is one of those top tier bases where the guy has designed it with a lot of post-shave properties. Nice long, look at that, the way it collapsed. This might not be a super thick lather actually, so this may not be a good test to see if a thicker lather can make this brush feel a little softer. but I wanted to take a break from my sterling run that I've been doing. I've had 8 shaves with, maybe 9 with sterling. And I just wanted to try another soap with this brush. Since this brush is a loaner brush, I'm going to have to send it back within a reasonable amount of time. All right, a little water on my face. Yep, it's chilly water. All right. Looks like we've got enough soap to do the job, so it looks like 15 seconds is just fine. Wow, this brush actually feels softer than before. Could it be that my skin maybe is a little more desensitized because of the cold water? I don't know. Maybe the creamier base. This guy is a little creamier than sterling. As you can see, it's not a super thick mix because I do have stuff flying off. But yeah, this is a whole different brush than it was the other day, or than it has been with sterling. How about that? I even mixed up some sterling a little thicker than usual. Man, I wish I knew if it was the cold water or not. Oh, great scent on this soap, man. I like that so much. It's got some kind of warm notes as well. Definitely one that feels good this time of the year. Not necessarily a summer only. But I think it can easily be enjoyed in the summer too. But I think it definitely feels good in the winter. It's not too heavy to be a winter only soap. Let's try the Voshkod out. Good so far. A little bit of blade feel. A little bit of tugging right there. I wonder why. Okay, this blade has been used a few times, but not really a big deal. Interesting. I usually find that blades feel better on this side for some reason, but this one was the opposite. It felt better on my right side. And 24 hours of beard growth is what we're dealing with today, so not anything extra. Oh man, that's a good scent. All right, pause. I might have run this soap just a little wet. And so what I'm going to do to counteract that a little bit, I dabbed my face with my towel. And so then a little bit of the wetness is going to be pulled away from the lather into my skin, and so then it will thicken the lather just a little bit on my face. Also, it's been too long since I've used an Icarus soap, and so I can't remember if the bloomed version is just radically different than the non-bloomed. But this certainly is a good soap, that's for sure. I don't really have a problem with the Icarus base. There were some of the scents that I tried from Icarus, like Shore. People were saying it smelled like beach, but it sure didn't to me. I mean, maybe there's a certain brand of suntan lotion that it was supposed to smell like, but in terms of ocean and salt and things like that, grassiness maybe from the sea oats or something, I didn't get that at all. It did smell more like, did I say it smelled like a little girl's sweet lip gloss, you know, like flavored, like some kind of fruit flavored lip gloss. And so to me, that was not the ocean. Now, I don't know if part of that was that the Icarus base coming through, and maybe that is kind of what he's trying to change with the new version. Don't know. Cross grain now. And very smooth. You can still hear a little bit of cutting. And of course, this base is giving me excellent glide. So it looks like the Voshkod is going to be a pretty good blade, for me at least, in this razor. I think that a lot of guys out there have lathers that are just too dry, and then I think that they have a more difficult experience with some blade and razor combos because you're not getting the slickness that you need. And I think once you get a really nice wet slick lather, I think that really opens up the opportunity and the capacity for enjoying more blades, more razors, that sort of thing. It does reduce the scent strength sometimes. I'm looking at my Sterling. I actually made a chart on my website and to chart my progress, the weight of the soap as I'm using it, and it was pretty much a flat line. After 8 shaves or 7 shaves, I've only lost about 3 grams, and so it's a pretty even line, you know. And some other guys use up soap a lot quicker than I do, and so the good thing is they're going to get more of that scent, whereas I'm not, because I just don't use as much soap to get these wet slick lathers, you know. And a bowl is a very efficient user of soap. If you are struggling in terms of buying soap and that sort of thing, you want to make sure you get the most out of it that you can. I strongly encourage you to get a lather bowl. Now this is one that was 3D printed, designed by Roger Quintero. You can see some of the spines there in the bottom to help agitate the lather. It's got these inturned lip at the top there. It's got a thumb holder there, as well as a brush holder right there. You know, but to be honest, for a long time I used one from the Dollar Tree, and it was just a soup bowl, and it comes out of the bottom and then it curves toward the corners instead of being very round. It's more of a huge, a rounded rectangle shape, if you will. And that was terrific. It was a great lather bowl. And I found that I could use less soap per shave and get more good lather if I used a bowl. 7 seconds of loading with a chiseled face soap gave me 4 passes of very enjoyable, slick lather, whereas I would have to use 10 seconds of soap loading with a face lather. And that last pass, that third pass, was super thin, workable, but super thin and not very luxurious, and that's all you had. You just had those 3 passes. So I got much more joy out of using the bowl, got better lathers, and I was able to use less soap. So a little economy tip for you there. But soap's somewhat cheap, and a lot of guys want to use up their soap as quickly as possible because they've just got so much of it. So that kind of person may not be interested very much in the economical benefits of using a bowl. Now that pass went really well. So again, I have dried off my face just a little bit. And yep, it sure didn't look like we had tons of soap, but this is going to be what's left over after the third pass, and that's enough for another pass, maybe even 2. I am feeling the brush A little bit in some of this area right here is my more tender area. And so I do feel the roughness of the brush there a little bit more, but still overall the brush feels very different than it has been with the sterling. Now I'm a huge fan of sterling, and since there are a large quantity of brushes out there that work just fine and super soft with sterling, I definitely wouldn't think of switching away from it just to be able to use a rougher brush than I want, you know. I mean, with sterling for like 13 bucks, you get almost 6 ounces of soap. And this soap may be the one I try next in terms of using it over and over. See how quickly I use it up, because this one, with its focus on the post shave, is going to have ingredients in it that aren't soap. So don't help you with your lather. It helps you with a feeling afterwards and that sort of thing. And so this soap may end up being used up quicker. We'll see. And then it being more expensive, then all of a sudden sterling represents quite a significant value. Yeah, a little bit of tenderness right there. I have to be really careful around this area. The wrong direction can give me irritation. It's a nice lather. All right, I'm going to do my final rinse. Take a look at the closeness. So the Voshkod was a little tuggy on this side over here. Maybe I could change some different directional approaches, but actually I think it was that on the first pass that was pretty much with the grain. And there's not too much of a kinder pass that you could take, really. I wonder if this Voshkod is representative of how it goes. I think we're 6 uses in or so, 5 uses in, and so that means that like an introductory roughness that some new blades have should be gone by now. Interested to see how this blade keeps on going. But yeah, I did not add any more water than I already had, and I'm sorry it's not going to be super easy to reproduce. I'm going to guess that I put like maybe two teaspoons on top of the soap to kind of soak it beforehand. And then I poured that into this bowl here. This is a really nice lather, right where I want it, wet and slick. Look at that. That is a slick lather. I wouldn't want to go any wetter, and so for me this is perfect, and it made the brush seem and feel nicer. All right, so 15 seconds worked with no problem there. I could have possibly used a little bit less water, had a more creamy lather, could do that. Tremendous. So a good shave. A little surprised that the Voshkod did that well. For the closeness was excellent on this shave. My little tender area right here. I think maybe I see some length on just a couple of hairs, and that is either average or above average for me. So happy there. A little bit of razor burn in this spot where I often get some. I don't even feel it anymore, so it's very minor. I want to put away my gear, clean up. Success again today with the blooming of the Icarus. I'm glad I finally remembered. Produced a great lather. Might have to try it non-bloomed and bloomed a little bit at some point to see if there's a difference. So excellent little brush. Definitely it looks like you could vary the feel if you were to switch soaps and use different kind of soaps. Not super dense, but I don't really need these super dense brushes. Sometimes they actually bring a long backbone that I don't enjoy. But Duke 3 from Simpson. Nice brush when used in this soap for me, so that's pretty cool. Well, to be honest, I want to keep smelling this scent, and so what I think I'm going to do, not really put on a post shave. I think I will throw on maybe a little unscented witch hazel, and we'll see about these post shave properties from this soap. And I just really like the scent so much. I want to keep smelling it. I don't want some post shave product to come in and mess it up. Oh, well, I've got some unscented balm from Soap Commander. I think I'm going to do that. Integrity, and you need to look. It's important. They have two versions of Integrity. They have menthol and menthol-free, and this is their unscented balm. It does spread a little easier if you throw a little water on your face afterwards. I don't feel any irritation at this point, even this guy down here. So we're in good shape. And there we go. Nice. All right, great shave on all accounts, except for maybe that little bit of roughness on the first pass there with the Voshkod. So maybe it's not the perfect blade for this razor, but it was a little strange. So I might definitely give that blade another shot in this razor and just see if it's consistent. Also could wait till it gets a few more uses in it, and it could even out, smooth out a little bit more and be great. Pleasure to use Admiral, that's for sure. Enjoy the scent so much, and the performance is really, really good. All right, I'm all cleaned up. Hope there was something in here today that helped you out. You take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Bye.